Oh man, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
It's November. I've already started. Uh, I already watched Jingle All the Way and Just Friends already. So
Oh, good choices. Good choices. I like those. I haven't seen Jingle All the Way in quite a while.
holds up. Really, really
Does it?
holds up. Yeah.
That's the one with Turbo Man?
Yeah.
Dude, that is great stuff. I have some good memories of that movie.
How
Watching
you
that
been,
around
man?
Christmas time. I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Just,
Um,
just hanging out, just working,
just yeah,
just,
just
just
hanging
chilling.
out, watching Christmas movies.
That's the way.
So
So,
we're
where to
yeah.
begin? What did we watch this week, Tim?
We watched Deathday, otherwise known as The Campus. You picked this movie. Do you want to talk about why you picked it?
Yeah, totally. I picked Deathday, which is also known as the campus, because I had actually heard about this quite a few times beforehand, and I'd seen it on Facebook. I recently met the director of this film, Jason Horton, Jay Horton, and yeah, I saw it on IMDb originally, then I saw it on Facebook, and I was like, I should check this out soon. Then I didn't know though that the name had changed, I think, from the distributor or something like that. So I didn't realize that first when I was picking it that it was the same film. So I was pretty stoked about that. So, um,
Yeah, I
but
actually like was kind of I forgot to like go on IMDb. I just watched the movie. And when you picked it, it was Death Day, and the poster was what's on Tubi right now, which is like the devil character that's kind of towards the end of the movie, holding like a birthday cake with like one the T is like the only candle that's lit. And then right before we did this episode, I went to IMDb just to like brush up just in case I'm missing anything. And I forgot that you mentioned that it was called The Campus before. And I have to say, I feel like Death Day is a better title than The Campus. The Campus doesn't really make much sense in terms of that movie that was actually made.
yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, because of sort of the plot of it, I guess, right? That it was the can't like like are you saying like what would the campus be or like
Yeah, I don't see the like I think that in terms of like a title change, Death Day is closer related to the film, unless I'm missing something on what The Campus is. Um,
I might be missing something too, but I think I do agree. I mean, I liked the title, Death Day. I have not like I remember I think you'd mentioned it at the end of last episode. Maybe the title was because of Happy Death Day,
yeah,
distributor probably um a lot of times they probably see success and it's easy to um get more people interested in it if it is somewhat similarly titled to another film that is popular. I
I think
think
in this case
Asylum,
it makes sense.
like didn't Asylum do they did like Sinister Squad around Suicide Squad like around the same time. I checked it out, you know what I mean? Like I
That's on
watched
my queue.
it. It's a fun movie.
It is,
It's different, it's like it's different than Suicide Squad, but it's like Asylum's Suicide Squad,
but that
like all
kind
the
of
way.
helps. Like, I feel like if you know what Happy Death Day is, then you kind of know what to expect. And I will say, like, this movie did deliver with knowing that it was called Death Day, and I expected something like a Groundhog's Day horror movie, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at even though it kind of followed that like structure of like watching the same person go through the it was like like Groundhog's Day or what was the Live Die Repeat movie.
Oh,
uh
Edge of Tomorrow, yeah.
yeah, like while it did do that, I was still pretty satisfied with the differences and how it kind of like went in a totally different direction after they established that like familiar structure. So
Yeah.
I feel like in looking at a type of movie like this where yes, they are using a similar um, title as something that was like released on a much grander scale to maybe draw more people in. Um, when I saw the differences, it didn't bother me how close it was. Like, for example, Suicide Squad and Sinister Squad, like I think a lot of times that would probably frustrate people, but um, the
No, we
direction
like.
they took was decent.
Yeah, no, it's cool, I think, to sort of see like other takes on similar stories, because it's obviously not. I haven't seen Death Day or Happy Death Day or whatever in the sequel. I haven't seen those, so I can't speak for how those movies play out. But I really dug this though. How it was like,
Yeah.
it was cool because it I mean, let me just read the synopsis real quick, just to give people kind of an idea for it. But um, Robert Wainwright dies after breaking his deal with the devil, passing that debt on to his estranged daughter Morgan. She soon finds herself in a never ending cycle of terror as she is brutally murdered, then resurrected over and over again, each time losing a piece of her soul. Now she must discover why this is happening and break the deadly cycle in order to escape. So it only mentions the devil once there at the beginning, but they do wrap around to that pretty well, I thought, too, with the whole devil coming after her soul kind of thing, and the
Yeah.
five times, I think, um, 5 times killed sort of thing. Um, but what I liked a lot was the effects, the practical effects and stuff for the violence. It was really kind of gross and stuff, and
Yeah,
uh,
she's got an eyeball hanging out of her
dude,
head.
that is what I was
That
saying. I
was
was almost
done
gonna say
really
no
well.
spoilers, but that part like really grossed me out. I was like, dude, what? It just happens too. Like I just like that kind of stuff when sort of the unexpected is just it's all kind of fair play, it can happen. So with a movie like this, that's I think perfect for those opportunities.
Yeah, I can safely say I did not see the caliber of like special effects like that coming. I was definitely impressed with like kind of how dark it did get at sometimes. Just to kind of like tell you, Happy Death Day is it's follows the same structure where like she has to like relive certain things, then she gets like she gets self-aware and then starts to like figure out how to like navigate through certain things that she's repeatedly done. But that movie is like definitely takes a funnier perspective, and I was actually glad that this movie kept a pretty ominous tone throughout the whole thing. And I think with the unknowing, like you didn't know what was going to be in the next time she was going to go through her death, and I thought that that kind of kept me on my toes, and some of the things that kind of made its way in were pretty cool. Like there's a little bit of like a purge element in one of them, which I thought was kind of cool. The sound effects were pretty cool too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that I really enjoyed that too. I was gonna say, it was very creative in and I noticed on IMDb it's listed as also like a fantasy horror film, and
Hmm.
so it did have that vibe, and there was cool lighting with that, and then obviously, like those creature sort of characters really stood out too, and I really dug that.
What I thought was kind of cool was like until the end. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil a lot, but like until the end, you don't really know what to believe, like if something is supposed to be on purpose or not. Like what I liked about that purge death time was like they were people. Like you could tell it was people wearing masks. But at first I was like, oh, this might be something that kind of like reflects the budget. But then when you get to the end, they really like I think that was I like that was intentional. It was supposed to feel like these are masked people coming to kill her. Because when you
Right.
get to the end and you see the actual devil with such like I will say that was awesome special effects. Um, and which reminded me of like Insidious when it's like they come face to face with that like Darth Maul character. Like I like that they didn't hold back. That wasn't like just a
Yeah.
person with a mask. It was like full on prosthetics, full on makeup of a really cool looking devil. So
Yeah, and the
awesome.
practical hooves. Yeah, no, dude, that's what I was gonna say. And actually, what's kind of neat is on the IMDb, it's a little blurry, but there is a still of the beast from this film on the Death Day page, and it's
Yeah.
pretty cool looking. I really like that design, and the approach that they went after that whole thing. It had a very unique style, and honestly, the film itself, the way it was paced and played out,
Hmm.
it it felt, and with the music too, it felt like a really cool kind of artsy horror film.
Yeah,
Like it had a really neat, uh I don't want to just say pacing, because it really was like almost like a style, because in part the music as well. It
I think
really kind of gave it a feeling.
I definitely feel like the aesthetic was one of the strongest parts. For sure, the music. I thought that also it was shot. I don't, pardon my, like, I don't know what this is called, but it was shot in a super wide, like aspect ratio. Like the black bars were thicker than they normally were. And
Right.
I felt like there was a lot of shots with wide angle where you could see the entire room while the girl was walking through. And I thought the way that they color graded it, the way they used a lot of those like gels over the lights to make have things have like red effect or blue effect or whatever. And I thought all of that combined with the really great score added a lot of um, like quality to this film that really helped with everything kind of like the movie itself. But I thought that the way it looked was one of the main things I was like really drawn into for the whole movie. I thought it was very consistent.
Definitely. And I think I as well, I'm not really a camera visual person, but I think it's anamorphic lenses, or
Okay.
that style is like, I'm pretty sure Matt, my roommate, has talked about um anamorphic lenses being that kind of that wide look that kind of Wes Anderson and those guys use. And I wouldn't be surprised. Jason's a very creative, like talented guy from the set I was on with him, which was that Shark Attack movie I had told you about.
Okay.
Um, and he's, just he's been doing this stuff a long time, and he knows like pretty much every, all the departments. It seemed like, sound, video, editing. He edits as well. I know features and docs and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see like a narrative feature directed by him, because I don't think I had seen one of his before. So
Yeah, I thought I could definitely see his like creativity because while this is like a low budget movie, little things like that, like shooting it in a different aspect ratio, shooting it with like more film grain and color gels over the lights adds a lot to making this feel more unique than some other stuff. Like just goes to show like maybe going a little bit outside and trying something different can go a long way. Even if it's not like, you know, what is normally done.
definitely, yeah, because I mean, with horror too, there's so many different sort of like umbrellas of like what falls under horror, that like I think seeing a movie like this that isn't like a straight up slasher, like I feel like a lot of times I end up watching like slashers, so it's cool for me to finally, I'm starting to really see the differences, and like where these other influences probably can come from for some of these filmmakers. And like it's just fun to kind of discover, a lot of things that I'm very in the dark about. I don't, like we just said, I don't really have camera knowledge and stuff, so I'm usually impressed by like all that stuff pretty easily. But like this movie, like you said, being shot probably for much cheaper, is it has a high production value
Yeah. Yeah,
through
and I
and
think
through.
one thing I also noticed, which I thought was interesting, but also like a really nice creative solve for, when you're trying to make a movie like this. Um, the company that made this movie is um, ANC Entertainment. So in the movie, where this movie takes place is at ANC Entertainment's lot. And I thought that it was an interesting way to like nail down a location, probably at zero cost, and make a movie at a location where you can do whatever you need to at whatever time. Like a lot of this movie was shot at night, and I
Yeah,
thought, it was just cool. Like, why not make a movie at a place where you can like splatter blood across the wall? You can shoot at whatever hours you want. You can shoot in the lot and not worry about anything really because it's your property. So I think in terms of like a low budget feature, it's interesting. Like that probably cut costs a lot, and I thought that they weaved it into the story in a way that made sense. Like it didn't turn my head or anything, but I thought that was cool because I in the beginning it was like ANC Entertainment, and then in some of the shots they didn't even try to hide ANC Entertainment. So I thought that was like I was like, okay, this is definitely not an accident. They meant to shoot it here, but I thought that was good creative solve.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually didn't notice that. A lot of the time, I don't know, like you, obviously everybody watches films differently and pays attention to different things. So it's cool to hear that though, because now if I watch it again, I'll definitely like, be looking for that kind of stuff. Because I mean, I know, I don't know. I'm trying to think now if I did notice anything, but but
I forget what the tie-in was. I think like the father, like after the funeral, she goes there to like pick stuff up and before she's gonna move. I think she's gonna like drive cross country or something, and she goes to like that was like his office or something, because everything was like she has the keys to get in there. So that's I think that's how they weaved it in there.
that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, because I was gonna bring up. I don't mean to change the topic, but on the trivia actually for the IMDb on this movie, it says special effects artist Robert Bravo made more than 26 gallons of fake
Oh my
blood
God.
during the duration of production, and none was left over by the end.
That's awesome.
Isn't
None
that
of it was left
crazy?
over.
I believe it though. There's a lot of blood in this movie.
So the second one is at least two film posters shown in one of the settings are from the director's Jason Horton's previous works, Edge of Darkness and Hitchhiker's Massacre. Have you seen either of those?
No, I've not. I just I would check him out though. That would be cool. Hitchhiker Massacre sounds cool too.
Yeah, just the title alone. Um,
That's awesome. The Edges of Darkness cover is cool. It's a cool cover.
are these on Tubi?
I'm not sure. That would be awesome though. I would check it out. Let me look. I'm not sure if this is his only film on Tubi or not. He just has Death Day, it looks like, on Tubi.
Okay. Well, at some point we should definitely track down those other ones. They sound interesting.
Yeah, I love the title and the posters. So that's cool, man.
So I think that you picked a good one, and it's cool that you have worked with them before. Um, and I
Yeah, it
think
was a
that
it's a short couple days, but it was a really cool like opportunity to meet somebody that's really doing it, and like making films and stuff. And there's been quite a few people that I've met out here that I would love to do kind of episodes on their movies because they all have done some cool stuff. So I
yeah,
enjoyed this a lot.
yeah, me too. Good choice.
Thanks, man.
So I've got a movie, which I
Here.
picked out actually like literally before we did the last episode because I was telling you before that we started recording, I made a massive queue, which I'm sure you have as well from Tubi because I will say it's really hard to go through all of Tubi and remember what you thought looked good because there's so much horror out there that they have for free. Um, so I started making a list. I've got some really great stuff I'm excited to pick in future episodes. But there was one actress that I immediately looked for who, if they had any movies of hers on Tubi. I'm a big fan of Felissa Rose. You may know her from Sleepaway Camp. She's the girl from Sleepaway Camp.
Of course, the first film. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that ending, man.
She's the I'm using air
Everyone.
quotes girl from Sleepaway Camp.
Oh
Um,
my lord. Oh, that's
so
funny.
I just a little anecdote before I tell you what the movie is. I became a big fan of her because one of my favorite bands is CKY, and the lead singer of CKY, who he's now in another band called 96 Bitter Beings, he they used to have um, that image of her character in Sleepaway Camp as their artwork for I think it was like the Disengage the Simulator EP or whatever. So they were huge fans of Sleepaway Camp, and lo and behold, they're now Darren Miller and Felissa Rose are now married, and uh, he's been in a couple of low budget horror movies too. But she's continued her like reign as like a a VOD scream queen, and she's in all sorts of movies. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still dying to meet her because she does all of the horror conventions, but I
Yep.
just seem to
Yeah.
keep missing my chance.
Yeah, no, that's really cool that you say that. I've seen how active she is. She's still, dude, the other day there's a few new films that are being funded right now in Indiegogo and like Kickstarter that she's gonna be in. And some of them were just funded, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah, she's extremely like active, still like working, and that's legit. And everybody says how cool she is at all the conventions and stuff. And
I
um
see like pictures of her, and
she just was
she's
perfect.
literally doing the Angela face, like still
Yeah.
with like fans. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why it's like cool, like all of those horror like icons essentially, like Kane
Yeah.
Hodder, how he would do the choke to the fans, and
Yeah.
Robert
Even like
Englund even like
yeah. Yeah, Danielle Harris, like
yeah,
there's a lot of I think that's like the beauty of horror, especially like horror of this nature, like VOD, because there are diehard fans out there who will follow your work and will fund movies. Like I just think it's cool that Felissa Rose is still doing horror. So I picked something that both of us, I'm really hoping you haven't seen it. Both of us, I think, will enjoy the cast. It's called The Last House. Um, and
sweet.
guess who is first billed on that poster?
Whoa. Dude. All right. We met him,
J.
dude.
J. Muse. Yeah.
We met him.
I actually am looking right now. I was showing someone the signed copy of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back that we got. I think you got
Just
Clerks signed, right?
I got Clerks signed, but I just watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back last week, and that movie is amazing still.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, good choice, dude. It's so funny. So funny.
So, the last house, after his girlfriend is kidnapped by a satanic trio of escaped mental patients, a young man must rescue her from a Hollywood home before their sadistic plans can be realized. So, Jason Mewes and Felissa Rose. I'm stoked. I've been eyeing this for a while.
Great choice, man. I'm very excited to pass the poster test. It's a 2014 5-year-old movie horror
Yep.
flick. I'm excited for this, man.
So,
Wow, very
there we
cool, man.
go.
I'm good pick, dude. I'm excited for this one.
Thank you. I'm very stoked. And coming soon, I think Matt and I talked we might be doing some of the abundance of Christmas horror movies coming up. So
That's always fun, dude. The holiday horror, the Christmas horror, all that good stuff. I think I'm due for that because I there's so many I haven't seen. So I mean, like, and how many like VOD horror like holiday flicks exist? There's plenty to
oh
watch.
yeah, and they keep coming out, and they all pass my poster test. So
All of them, all of them. That's
um,
awesome. Great
so
pick. I'm looking forward to this.
I can't wait. And awesome pick with Deathday. That was a definite surprise.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. I really dug that movie.
You guys can check that out. It's on Tubi right now.
Watch
Big
along with us for the next one too.
Yeah, The Last House. Big love to Tubi.
Yeah, shout out to Tubi, man. Not as good as Quiznos, but pretty good. I'm just joking. Much better than Quiznos. BLT? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, man.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks again for having me on, dude. I'm looking forward to the next time.
Me too. Thanks for joining. Thanks for picking.
Yeah, dude. You too. Have a good one, man.
You too, Matt.